outside Dean Court, and it's a 3-2 game, unfortunately, to Tottenham. Bournemouth were 2-0 up at one point, though. Mr. Tom Jordan, what do you make of that?
Oh, mate, can't believe it. Probably losing by the odd goal before the game, I would have said. Valiant effort, didn't expect anything. 2-0 up, absolutely cruising, to be honest. I thought they were really poor. We were so comfortable, they weren't doing anything, really. And then we decided to change things. I don't understand. 2-0, decided to take off Phil Billing and bring on Jane Anthony, so we changed the system. Dom Slanky goes to right midfield, and we just decided to sit off him for half an hour. I don't get it, because we didn't sit off him all game and we were 2-0 up, so don't really understand it. And then obviously as soon as they got one back, they were bringing on Fredericks, bringing on Jack Stevens, we're trying to hang on. I feel for Travs because he's back in, probably should do better for the equaliser.
Agreed.
Probably his mistake. And it was just, we were so comfortable. I just can't believe it. I don't get change of things. There's not a problem. What's the old saying? Don't change anything. If there's nothing, there was nothing to be. There was no need to change a thing. We were so comfortable. I almost felt we were more likely to get a third.
Yeah.
We were all over them. They had nothing. They had no answers. And then we kind of almost went to them. Come on, we're going to let you come on us now. And you do that to the quality they have. That's what's going to happen. Silly goals to concede, but we played into their hands, mate. We were so comfortable. You got to give us credit for the first half and the first hour, really. We were superb. Kiefer Moore just was absolutely sensational. They couldn't cope with him. And we were great. Tavernier, wing back, played really well. Zamora was getting forward well. We were glad he was back in and he showed that. And it was just, getting bodies up with Dom. It was working. And they couldn't cope with us. To be honest, you wouldn't know the league positions. We were the better team. By far the better team. It wasn't just counter-attack, we were the better team. And then, for whatever reason, we decided to just change everything. And I can't get my head around it, mate.
Maybe a lack of bravery there in terms of, we know that Tottenham are going a little bit more urgency when they're 2-0 down. Yeah. So sort of preemptive changes, but it didn't feel like at that point there was going to be anything coming from them that we couldn't handle. No,
the 2-1 goal, Sessegnon, that come out of nothing, didn't it? And you really felt like if we can just keep it 2-0 to the last 10, we'll be fine. But they got that goal back, and then we just panicked. We panicked. We felt like I felt like when we got the second goal, we played like it was the last 5.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. There was nearly half hour to go. You can't play like that. You're inviting quality onto you, and we gave him more time. Lucas obviously came on. All right, mate. And they come alive, and that's what's going to happen when you play a good side. So. Really disappointing, mate. We had so many positives to come out of that. Even if we had just got away with a point, we'd have said, tell you what, we panicked a little bit, but we've got a point out of it which we didn't expect. But my worry is that could really deflate us now. That's taken a lot out of the boys, and we've come out of it with 0. So really disappointing, and it shows that if you go at teams, I saw Brighton, I think they spanked Chelsea today, and you go for these teams, there's not a lot in it, but we just played into their hands, mate, and I'm just really, really frustrated. But oh well, it's what it is. Didn't expect anything, did we? We only just lost, so it's what it is. But hard to take that one, mate. Hard to take,
mate. All right.
Cheers, Steve.
See you soon. Hey, this way?
Yep.
Hey, how you doing,
mate?
You all right?
Not bad, mate. Yeah, a bit disappointed. Glad for Kiefer. 2 great goals. Why did we sit back? Everybody's going to say the same thing, isn't they?
Yeah.
Well, we'd invited them onto us. Players like that in the Premiership, Tottenham Hotspur, that's the last thing you want to do, in my opinion. In the first half, we played so well. Coming forward, we kept doing that. Who knows? I think we would have done a lot better than what we did, 3-2 down, you know what I mean? But there you go, such is life.
And we had opportunities, other opportunities in the first half that we didn't quite take as well.
Yeah, but we took 2 opportunities out of the many we had. That was great. 2 good goals, but to sit back is suicidal. Against teams like Tottenham, absolutely suicidal. What can I say? Disappointed. I think a lot of people will say the same thing.
Yeah.
It's all the same thing. Why did we sit back? We gave them all the room they wanted. Sit back on the ball, put the ball in the box, and do what they wanted to do. So, there you go. Onwards and upwards. Up the Cherries.
All
right, all the best.
Appreciate it, all the best. Hey, Paul, you all right?
Hello.
Well,
you coming in too now?
What can we say about it? You want to come in together? We do a duo today.
The duet.
Let's talk positives. I've heard a lot of negatives. Let's talk positives.
Okay, positive is that O'Neill is not our permanent manager, because that was tactically inept, basically.
Yeah.
He let them come onto us. He sent a player on the pitch with a note which must have said, let them get back into the game, because that's exactly what we did. Just so disappointing. Especially after we went 2-0 up. Great header. That header was amazing, the second one. Yeah, just so disappointed. That's the only feeling I've got at the moment. And in terms of positives, I think all of the positives got overwritten by negatives, unfortunately, in that game.
No, I understand. Let's talk about the goals, though, a little bit more, Noah. Keith Moore.
Yeah.
Brilliant, wasn't he?
Yeah. His his second header was great.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
I did see it.
It came in off the crossbar.
It was amazing. It was amazing.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder.
I didn't really see his first header, so how was that?
It was very good. It was still very, very good. I mean, it does make you wonder, should we be starting him alongside Dom Solanke in that kind of more often? Should they be working together more often? Because it feels to me like every time Keith Moore comes on, he makes an impact.
Yes, because they might have to learn to work together in case Tav's injured.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. It is a good idea. Fantastic. Anyone stick out for you today apart from Keith Moore? Favourite player?
Travers.
Nice to see him come back, wasn't it? Nice to see him come back. Do you reckon he'll hold on to the number one spot for a while now?
Hopefully.
Brilliant. Thanks, Noah. Thanks for coming
Neto's recovered.
Until Neto's recovers.
I think Travers might have gone walkies for the second. But we'll see on the replay.
We will see on the replay.
It's good to see you.
Right. All the best, guys. See you soon. Ethan, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
I've got a queue today, so I'm going to whip through quite quickly. Talk to me about your first impressions about that game today.
Well, first half we were very good until that happened.
Yeah.
I thought we played very well, very impressive, better than the West Ham game, obviously. What happens? What happens? You never know, do you? But positives, Keith Moore, absolute superb. Jay-Z, first starting ages, quite impressive, but I don't know what silly goals they conceded. I mean, the first goal, fair enough, it's a good goal, but we were just sloppy. But
a lot of people are saying that maybe a mistake was that we kind of changed things, that we sat back.
yeah.
You never know what could happen in football. If he hadn't have changed things and the result had been the same, people would be saying, well, why didn't Gary O'Neill change things? But does this kind of put people's feelings? I know there was a big swell of support for him to possibly be our manager going forward, but the last few results have not been great, have they?
No.
And it's because they've come from positions where we've looked relatively good in games. It's not because of the opposition necessarily we're playing against. What do you think? Do you think it's maybe World Cup we'll see a change of manager for us?
Hopefully we don't see a change, but obviously every game in the Premier League is tough, and it's getting to that stage where we play the tough teams. But I have a feeling we should be alright.
Okay, brilliant. Good to see you, Ethan. All the best, buddy.
Cherries.
Hi, Ollie. How you doing, mate? You okay?
Yeah, I mean, what a game. I unfortunately didn't have the pleasure of seeing the first Keith Moore goal because I was a bit late to the stadium today, but I did see the second one. It was a decent goal, but I mean, I can't believe we gave away so many corners. You know, we were just giving away so many chances time and time again. I was like, oh my God, they're going to capitalise on this, because Spurs are a decent side. Although we don't like to admit it, Spurs are a decent side, and when you give them that many chances, they're going to take them.
Yeah.
And you know, Conte's a good coach, and of course he's going to go in and he's going to make sure he wins those games. And you know what? When Gary O'Neill changed the system when we were 2-0 up, I'm just thinking, what are you doing? If it's not broke, don't fix it.
If it's not broke, don't fix it. You're not the first person to say that. Okay, man of the match today for Bournemouth?
Keith Moore.
Yeah.
A brace from him. You know, he looked tired at the end of the game, but rightfully so. I mean, he was everywhere, and he was just scoring for fun today. It was amazing to see, but fortunately we can't come away with a result.
No, not this time. Maybe next time. Yes. Brilliant. All the best. Thank you for coming on. Hey, Hunter, how you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, good.
Good.
They did good today, though.
Yeah, it was an interesting game, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was going to be hard for them because Tottenham's in the top 3.
Tottenham are definitely a very good team, some very, very good players, but Bournemouth handled them pretty well, didn't they? First half was pretty good.
Yeah. It was good, but like I was gonna say they could get past them, but they couldn't because they had a more stronger team that's their Bournemouth because they didn't have Kelly on because he's injured and all this stuff.
Yeah, there are a few Bournemouth players who weren't in today, like you say. Kelly, obviously Neto meant a change in goal as well because he's injured. But Dom Solanke played. People didn't know if he was going to play. He did all right, did he?
Yeah, he did good. Kiefer Moore, lovely headers.
Yeah.
And 2 goals. It's lovely to hear. We could make an improvement.
I hope so. All good to see you.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming on, Hannah. All the best, buddy. All the best. Hello, mate. You all right?
Not really after that.
No one's jumping for joy, are they? And it's a funny thing, football, in that if those goals had come in a different order, we've had this conversation before. You might feel a little bit different afterwards, but being 2-0 up and then losing 3-2, that's not amazing, is it?
No, I just don't get why we completely changed it all. We went 2-0 up, and then all of a sudden we decided to sit back. And I've said this before this season. I can't remember what game, but I don't know why we completely change it if we go 2-0 up, because we were looking so confident when in possession of the ball, and we were nullifying them completely.
Yeah.
When we were going forward and attacking well, and then all of a sudden we change it when we go 2-0 up, try and see it out, and obviously it literally couldn't have gone any worse.
No, I don't think it could have gone any worse, really, apart from if we'd conceded another one. And I think what was quite frustrating as well is when we did go 2-2, we didn't feel like then because of the way that we changed it, we didn't have anything going forward ourselves, did we?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I to be honest, second half, obviously Kiefer Moore got the goal, but I didn't really see much of him.
Yeah.
And then brought Anthony on, he didn't do much. Solanke, I don't really know what was going on today. He was kind of playing here, there and everywhere. I mean, at times he was dropping back to a deep midfield role, and then at times he was, the lone striker up front. So, but yeah, it was weird tactics from O'Neill, to be honest. I think I think that personally, for me, is that's kind of him gone now. So obviously, I think we'll give him to the World Cup, and then that's it. But yeah, it's just frustrating because that's three losses on the bounce. But we've got to get something out of next week, because otherwise we'll be in a bit of trouble. Yeah,
off to Leeds next, aren't we? How are they doing this season? They're kind of they're doing all right. I think they're bobbing along. Jesse Marsh is their manager, isn't he? But he might be possibly. Some people are saying he might not have very long in the job. Okay, then. So, best player today?
I mean, I've got to give it to Kiefer Moore, haven't I?
He
was amazing. But if it would to be someone that isn't Kiefer Moore, probably Tavernier. He looks a completely different player today, I think.
Yeah,
and he maybe should have got a goal in the first half. Got a very good assist as well. Stayed very cool. So I think Moore and Tavernier for me.
Brilliant. Thanks for coming on, Ben. Good to see you. Hi, how you doing, buddy? You right?
Not too bad,
yeah. Good. So, a lot of people have been talking to me today about the game, and they've been sort of talking mainly about the fact that Gary O'Neill decided to make changes and changes that didn't really seem to ruined it.
When he took Fredericks off, Fredericks on, Tavernier off, ruined it.
Yeah, it did. It kind of changed the shape, and it changed anything we had kind of going forward.
Momentum.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What do you think that means for Gary O'Neill now? Because I mean, that's obviously the Fulham game. Bournemouth were in the lead, and then they went behind. This game, it's the same kind of thing. Yeah. Does this mean that maybe this isn't quite his level yet, or would you give him longer?
I'd give him longer because he just needs to not change too much in the second half. Because
Okay. And in terms of player state, now everyone's telling me, obviously, with 2 goals, Kiefer Moore's their man of the match. Yeah. If I was to say to you, okay, you can't pick Kiefer Moore, you've got to pick someone else who played for Bournemouth today. Who stood out for you? Senesi.
Yeah, he played really well in that first half.
Yeah, that's funny, isn't it? When you think back to when he first played for us, his first game, that Liverpool game.
Yeah, that was awful.
It was funny. I think everyone was awful that day, but no, I completely agree. Yeah, he's really growing into it and making a good partnership with Mepham. Yeah. Travers came in today for Neto.
Yeah, that corner was.
Yeah, I know. I'm not sure about the first 2 that we conceded there. Really, I don't know. I might have to look back on that one, mate.
Yeah, cheers.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks for coming on. All the best, buddy. Hello there. Hi, what's your name?
Hi, Peter.
Hi, Peter. Nice to meet you. How are you?
You too. Yeah, very well, thank you. But very disappointing not to get something out of that.
Yeah, I agree. I have the same conversation probably now, but a lot of people have been saying that the changes that were made changed the course of the game. Do you think that's a little bit unfair to say? Or do you think maybe actually we have to accept the fact that Tottenham are a very good team and they...
Yeah, I think I disagree with that. I mean, we worked so hard that first half, didn't we?
Yeah.
Played really, really well, but I think we looked very, very tired second half. So I was expecting some substitutions, but I think we had to get some fresh legs out there, really. But we just ran out of steam, I think. Last 10 minutes we looked dead on our legs, unfortunately. But gives me a lot of heart for the next few games, to be honest.
Yeah. Is that, do you think, going to be a problem with ours? I mean, we're having to work so hard in games that we're always going to have this situation that as the games go later on and other teams have real quality on their benches, we're always going to be vulnerable, aren't we?
I think that's a good point. Against the better teams we will be, but I think those around us, perhaps those in the bottom sort of 10, 12, I think we can stay competitive. So again, very, very hopeful, I think, but we desperately, I think, need something out of the next couple of games, don't we?
We do, we really do, yeah. Thank you so much for coming on.
Nice to see you.
Much appreciated. Now, speaking of being competitive at this level, let's see what he's going to say here.
Do you want me to get coming first?
Go on, come on first. Say your words.
We're competitive at this level, at least in the first half.
Yeah.
When Tottenham didn't play their first team, their changes made the difference because they brought on the 2 players they rested, and look at the difference it made. If Dyer had started, Kiefer Moore wouldn't have been able to do what he did. So there are certain things and depths of squads and changes and abilities, and they turned it up a notch when we couldn't. We haven't got the depth. I'm not frustrated with that performance. I think that was a really good effort. I'm frustrated that you can't put a better effort in against Brentford, Southampton and West Ham.
Okay.
Because you're not expecting to get anything out of that game. So yes, you were 2-0 up, but they have the depth, the strength, the ability. They're in the Champions League. You know, they don't get to that level for no reason. They can do that kind of thing. So Brentford, Southampton, West Ham, pull your chaffing finger out, because if you want to be competitive at the levels that matter, you're going to have to get points in the other games. So I'm not that disappointed with that. I think Meps was great. Obviously, Kiefer Moore is the man of the match. I thought he did everything, even in the defensive half.
Yeah.
I think there was, I feel a little bit sorry for Travs. Yes, he did make an error on their equaliser, but that was an area of his game that we commentated on in the Championship that he had to improve, and he did improve from regular game time. Now, if there's a part of your game that you're not the best at, that you've improved at, and then you're thrown back in, often that comes back for a bit.
Yeah, agreed.
So he did make a little bit of a cock up and have to hold his hands up, but that was always an area he'd got better at, gone a little bit backwards. But on the whole, you know, that was all right. Let's just do it in the games that matter.
A very refreshing view, Simon. I think a lot of people looked at the game as kind of Gary O'Neill made a mistake in making changes. But it's not like that. It's a game of chess, isn't it? It's not. It's as simple as kind of you do one thing for a reason.
You do, and we don't have the depth to compete with that team. We don't. We did brilliantly first half, but where we did brilliantly was, to be fair, where they'd made their changes and thought, rest week for you blokes.
Yeah,
we're going to put these boys in because they're good enough. So to us and to those boys, they made Tottenham have to make changes to make them play at a better level. And unfortunately, we don't have that level. We can't raise our game to another level from the bench because we don't have the depth.
Speaking of from the bench, Kiefer Moore usually comes from the bench. He doesn't usually start the game. He started the game today, played amazing. Every time I see him come on and he makes an impact. Is there an argument now to say, okay, we need to find a way to get him in our starting 11 rather than have him as an impact sub?
I think that was it.
Yeah.
Because we got crosses into the box, we were looking to get the ball in regularly, and he was just a muscle mountain.
Yeah.
And he was bossing everything. So yeah, we have to do that more, and we have to get down the channels more, get more crosses in, and use him. And we did. You know, that's all right. Not bad. Right. As long as we do that kind of stuff at Leeds next week.
Yeah.
And then at home to Everton, they're the games that matter.
Yeah.
That's me.
Josh,
done, Josh?
Do you want to say anything?
Well, I think the performance was quite good.
Yeah, good.
Because Tottenham's a good side and they're in the Champions League. So to get 2 goals against them, I feel like I'm quite proud about that.
Yeah, I think we should be proud about that. I think it's very easy, isn't it, to kind of feel a bit deflated because we didn't end up, getting 3 points from the game or even a point. But the performance was there, wasn't it, for large parts?
Yeah, the performance was there. The thing is, if we had that same performance against West Ham, Southampton, and
you sound just like your dad. Do you know that?
And stuff.
Yeah.
We would have been able to win win those games if we played like this all the time.
Okay, here's a tough question for you. Okay, Kiefer Moore, man of the match, definitely. I think everyone's going to say it. But if you were to pick another player, if Kiefer Moore wasn't on that pitch and you couldn't pick him, who would you have picked as
Mepham.
Mepham. Okay, good. That's brilliant. Thank you so much. Thanks, Josh. Good to see you.
Cheers, sir.
Hey, Mr. Sparks.
Hello.
Great to see you here on home turf.
Yes, lovely to finally be here for the first time in many years.
Okay, so you haven't been here in many years, and it was a very much kind of up and then down kind of game.
Yes.
But how are you feeling now? I mean, you're counting your blessings. You're here, you're watching the game. What do you think?
Yeah, up and down, a bit like my journey across the UK, up to Manchester and back.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Look, it's clear that everyone will be very disappointed by that, regardless of who your opposition is. You go 2-0 up against someone with 35 minutes left in the game. I think you're pretty much expecting to not just make sure you get a point, but win that game. And it's easy to point fingers, and I think there are fingers that need to be pointed. I think obviously Travers is somewhat culpable for the second goal. I think was a little bit culpable for the second goal, but then he made a few other really good saves in the match. So the biggest frustration for me is probably Stevens for Solanke right at the end. I think that I was sat next to Aaron Kay, and he was saying like maybe it's Kiefer Moore coming off for him, and I'm thinking we've got 2 centre-backs, we're about to bring on a third. Who do you think comes off? Surely it's the guy on a yellow card that's got no height. It's Adam Smith. And I'm looking at him thinking, like, what on earth brain cells would you think to make you decide any differently? And there goes Solanke off.
Yeah.
And in comes Stevens, who forces Smith out to a different position, who forces Fredericks into a different position. And you think that the comfort that the team have developed, admittedly, we've conceded 2 goals, yes, but everyone's tired, but everyone knows what they're doing for the most part. And then you change that up and we concede a goal from the corner. And now I don't know how involved Stevens was in that, and obviously he probably barely had a touch. The one thing I would say that I don't think many people maybe have picked up on is just the fact that we gave away so many corners. It's like, because really, I was having an argument with Tom Jordan beforehand. We actually stopped them up until the goal they can score, the corner they scored from.
Yeah.
And in my head, before the corner happened, I'm thinking, because Aaron's quite been sort of like, oh, we're going to worry about this, and I'm thinking, mate, they've done nothing from the corners. Yeah. And then I don't say it because I think I'm going to jinx it. Turns out I only needed to think it, and I jinxed it. So you can blame me for that one. We just for the even the goal for the corner led to the third goal. I can't see from them in the north stand, but whoever heads that in the middle of the area of the pitch, I'm just thinking, like, how come so many of our headers went the wrong way?
Yeah.
Why did so many of our clearancing headers go out for corners? And like, I think that we've got quite a reputation now in the league statistically for conceding from corners from set places.
Yeah, we have.
And I think that's fair enough. But I would say that you compare us to last time round in the Prem, I think we're a lot better defensively and from set pieces.
We certainly seem taller.
Well, there's that as well.
Yeah.
I just think that eventually a team like Tottenham, big, strong, very powerful, they're good from corners anyway, you keep giving away corners and you're just asking for it. So I think the one thing that I'd pull out from that, because I think the performance generally was really good. I think a lot of standout players, and I think that a lot of people are going to have questions about Gary O'Neill's changes, which I think is fair, but I think it may be a little harsh. But we do need a permanent manager. I would say that the defenders need to stop giving away so many corners. We're under a lot of pressure, yes, but not every clearance has to go for a corner.
Did we invite that upon ourselves though, by the changes, by the sitting back? Do you think it was just a case of let's play it safe, let's try and hold on? Because I like you say, I mean, when we take Dom Solanke off, you take away, and I'm not saying he was a great goal threat in the game by any means.
No.
But he is one.
He was a provider.
Exactly.
He was a brilliant provider
when you
in this
take that
game.
off, you think to yourself, okay, if we do need to get back into this game at any point, we're losing the options to do so.
I suppose with 6 minutes to go, you're thinking we're not trying to get back into this game at this point, 2-2. But I would say that yes, there was an element of that, because once you bring Anthony on for Billing, the one thing that was very noticeable from my position is how many opportunities, how much space Olive Skip had in the first half, because Billing kept having to follow him.
Yeah.
But then you'd often have whoever their right centre-back was would also come forward a bit, and you'd end up with a 3-on-2 in that space all the time. It was only because their crossing was god-awful that they didn't get anything from that. I think they got one successful cross out of 23 in the first half, I think the stat was. Our defending was great from that, giving away a lot of corners, but I think he had to make a slight change to that, but I do feel as though he probably should have tried to pack the midfield a little bit more, rather than what we ended up having was basically a 5-2-3 in the end. We kind of lost the midfield completely in that change, and that was the issue. Anthony did some really good work defensively and was one of our main threats counter-attacking in that once he came on, but there's a lot of ways to look at that, and I think that a lot of people will quite rightly have questions about O'Neill. He's obviously trying to make the right changes, but I do think that we just need someone in now, as soon as possible. Admittedly, it's not going to be until after the World Cup, who will just set us up in a way that we will stick to. Because O'Neill hasn't, I don't think he's played a single formation and personnel the same in any match since he's joined. After a while, the players have got to sort of be getting an overload of something, and it's tough to be asked to produce a different role every single week. And I think that's one of the reasons why I think Lewis Cook is starting to sort of drop off a bit. It's because he's being asked to do so many different things, and I do feel as though we could probably solidify their roles a little bit more. But hey, I'm not getting paid for that. Hopefully someone that comes in that does, and they'll be able to make the right decisions.
Thank you so much, Sean. Lovely to see you.
No problem. Thank you. Very nice to be here again.
So it's starting to rain now, so we're going to get out of the rain. Too much tinkering, perhaps? Don't know. If you like this video, please do give it a like, subscribe, and click the little bell thing, and any other videos that we've got coming up will come straight to you. Back in the net. Up Cherries.